Alright, if you've never been to my channel before, welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. So I've got, doing a little tank today in this thing here. It's a, well, it would have been a flower vase from who knows what. So we've got our river gravel. This gravel is pink. You'll be able to see that better once I get it in the water. I have my fluval aqua soil. We have our plants today. We'll be using this cardinalis mostly. Got it in some water and under a paper towel, keeping it moist. We're using this today. I've never used it before. It is a top fin nano LED. Never used it before. We're going to see if it works. If it works, great. If not, we'll be doing something else. Little USB plug, not a very long cord on it. And then it has this magnet. So that's what's going to hold it on. It's a pretty strong magnet. And then this is pretty flexible. I can make whatever goofy shape I wanted to with it. So that's kind of nice. And then you saw a brief, the top of it. We have a male Halfmoon Betta for in this today. So let's go ahead and get something figured out and get on with it, as Monty Python would say. All right, so let's get some of the gravel in. I'm gonna try and do this so you only see gravel on the outside and you don't see any of the topsoil or any of the aqua soil, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. There's a better look at it. It's got a mix of smaller granules in it, but it is kind of pink. So we'll see what I can do here. It's gonna be a little tricky because I can't get my hand in the thing. Build up a nice little layer of this gravel. So I think I'm just going to pour some in and move it around afterwards. That might be easier. Some of you would have planned this out. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. So the idea is I'm going to put the aqua soil down here in the middle. The gravel is going to be out on the outside, and then I'm going to cap it with more gravel once I'm ready. So that's what we're shooting for here. It's fluval aqua soil. If you've never used it before, never seen it, it's kind of hard to. If I can get it to focus. So it's these little granules. Worked extremely well in the guppy tank. So I'm going to use it again. And you know, I like it, and I would recommend it if you've never used it before. If it's something you're looking at getting into, I've had good success with it. So with that in mind, I would recommend it. So I've got that little bit of aqua soil in the middle there. I'm going to put some more gravel on the outside here. Now that I've got that kind of filled in. sure there's an easier way to do this. If you've ever done something like this before, and you know an easier way to do this, feel free to leave a comment. Then again, if you enjoy watching my horrible technique here, and you want to see me build more things and stuff like this that I can barely get my hands inside, leave a comment. If you think I'm crazy for even doing this, go ahead and leave a comment. Another scoop of this in here, and then we're gonna cap it off with gravel. Now you don't have to cap the aqua soil off in gravel. You can just leave it sitting on top. But that is not the look I'm going for today. So we're going to cap it off with gravel. Now, I'll get you a better angle here while I'm talking. This is going to be more along the lines of a no filter setup. So I'm going to end up putting more gravel in there than that, but you can see how deep it is already. I'm probably going to put a little bit more in, and then I'm just going to have stem plants in here. Nothing else. Probably put a little duckweed on top. I know some of you are screaming, no duckweed, no duckweed, duckweed bad. But I don't mind it. Plus, I've got a 55-gallon tank with a few goldfish in there with my turtle, and the goldfish love it. So I don't mind it because it removes the nutrients, excess nutrients, I should say, from water, and then I can just feed it to the goldfish afterwards. So it's kind of like our little free source of food. So we've got that. Now we're going to do plants. Stem plants. So I'm probably going to get some water in this so they stand up so it's a little bit easier to deal with. So let me get this thing filled with some water. Alright, well, thanks to a magical pause button, we are filled way too far up, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Now you can tell the water is pretty murky yet. We'll get the stuff planted in there. I'll do some water changes that'll clear it up some. We are going to have times where it's going to be murky like this, having this kind of set up, and you just have to be kind of aware of that. Setting it up like this, you've got to be willing to do your water changes. You got to be willing to do your water testing. I'll be throwing some water conditioning products in here. I use all the API products. Not a sponsored video. It'd be cool if it was, because that means I'd have a sponsor, but it's not. But I'll be using a lot of API stuff on this. I use them for all my tanks. I've had great success with them. If you're new to the hobby, API is a wonderful product. That would be what I would recommend. So anyway, I'm going to get a little bit of this water out so I don't overflow it real quick, and then we'll get into the plants. All right, some of the water's out. let's get over here to the plants. And I'm actually going to just be using the cardinalis that's in here. As I mentioned before, I've got some Rotella Hatra in here as well from trimming of the guppy tank, which I think would have, by the time you see this, posted a week or two ago. I'm not entirely sure. It depends on how long it takes me to do the editing for this. But let me pull one of the plants out here so you can get a look at it. So it is, starting to curve because I've had it in this for literally a day since that trimming video. It's already trying to send off roots from in the previous tank. Nice big leaves on it already. And I'm just going to be planting a handful of these right dead center. So let me get some more out and we'll get to planting the one thing I'm planting, I guess. Some trusty tweezers. And I'm just going to be taking some of these bottom leaves off here. Oh, I need that Rotella. And we're just going to be taking it and planting it nice and deep. Which is easier said than done. And I might not use all these, just because I want the fish to have some room to swim around in. Oh, this guy's got a little one growing off of it, so we're not going to use that one for this tank. These will kind of stand up more once they're in this as well for a little while, and I get the light on for them. Will kind of drive me nuts if it doesn't stand up some now. Right. So let me give you a little bit better angle of what I'm doing down here. So I've been shoving them into the gravel and aqua soil down there. I know it's hard to see with the cloudiness of the water, but like I said, we'll be taking care of that here shortly. And I think I'm going to leave that as is and just leave the top for some duckweed. but we will be back, hopefully with some clearer water, with the magic of editing. Alright, and we're back. So what have you missed? Well, thanks to editing and just giving it some time, water's a lot clearer. I'll show you that here in a second, and I made another cup of coffee. So let me go ahead and show you the water, how it looks now. See, nice and clear. Might have caught a glimpse there in the background of our resident who's going to be in here. So let's get the light on it here. That's not going to stay here, so I've got the extension cord, as you can see it, like, where's that? Right there. So we're just going to get that on here. The nice thing is, as I showed you before, it's magnetic, and it's a pretty strong magnet. Make sure I don't shoot it off into my coffee here. So I can get it in there, and then I can actually, it's strong enough for me to be able to just pull it down in, just like that. So it's not, like I said, it's not going to stay here. We're probably going to move it someplace else. This is just for the video here. So let me get it plugged in. And there we go. So it's not too bright, just a little LED light there. Pretty simple. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, this is the top fin flexible nano LED. Never used it before. We'll see how it goes. And, you know, check back with me here again on the channel after a while, and I'll let you know what I think of it. But there's kind of what I'm looking at. So it's got some shady areas. It is a Betta, so kind of wanted to have some shade. He's got some room to swim over here. It's hard to see with the way the bowl is, but he's got a good bit of room to swim over here. So let me get this little tripod set back down. So he's not going in there by himself. I do have a couple things here for the cleanup crew. So let me take the long way around. I'm just gonna step over. Alright, so here's our cleanup crew. Just a couple. If you know what their actual scientific name is, shoot me a message. You know, leave me a comment, something. They're just golden snails. That's what the store was calling them. So that's what I'm gonna call them. But they are about to call this place home here. Now I've already, like I said, we did the water changes. We've done some water treatments. They're going to look absolutely huge in this. Alright. So it'll take them a little bit of time to get used to the thing. Yeah, like I said, I did the API water treatments, cleared the water, treated the water for chlorine and other chemicals, etc., etc., and then beneficial bacteria to help get this going. Now the plants were in another tank. They were trimmed off of a tank that's been going for a little bit more than 4 months, so should be beneficial bacteria on them already, but not enough for this setup. So we've got them in there. We'll be back a little bit later. We're going to give them a little bit of time to settle in, and then we'll be back with the addition of the main star of the show. I'm going to mention this real quick before I forget. If you're watching this video and you've made it this far and you're just waiting for me to put in the star of the show here, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Helps the channel out. I'm sure most of you know how YouTube works, but it does help the channel. If you want to see more stuff like this, or any of the other tanks, or whatever else I might get myself into, hit the subscribe button. If you think I'm nuts and you just feel like telling me, leave a comment. Tell me I'm crazy. That's totally fine. The only thing I ask, if you've made it this far, if you're listening to me right now talk, don't tell Emily I did this on the kitchen table. She doesn't know, and we're going to keep it that way. Alright? Cool. Let's get the star in. Alright, time for the star of the show. Like I said, he is a male Halfmoon. He's a pretty little guy. So let's get him in his new home here. Gosh, that's not bright at all, is it? And with his, as tiny as this is, and as delicate as his fins are, I am putting him in by hand here. Oh, he's feisty. All right. And let me get you off the, let me move the tripod here. All right, let me get the light back up here. And see where he went.